So I've been analyzing dry cat food based on the AFCO product labeling requirements, the ingredient definitions and lists, the guaranteed analysis, approximate carb amount, put everything into a spreadsheet. And so far I've analyzed 60 dry cat foods, just going through what's available on Amazon. Next, I'm going to go through what's on Chewy. But I wanted to make a video of the worst so you can see how bad these foods really are. The first one we're going to look at is MeowMix Tender Centers, the delicious flavors of chicken and tuna. So that word flavor right there means that there's no minimum requirement of chicken and tuna, and it's definitely less than 3%. If it was at least 3% chicken and tuna, it would say with chicken and tuna instead of flavor. And I love how they have on the bag like this barbecue right here. Like, first of all, cats don't cook their food. Cats wouldn't eat barbecue. Barbecue sauce is not appropriate for cats. So it's like they're completely failing here by, like, you know how cat food brands usually put like nice pictures of juicy meat on the cover? It's like they didn't even bother. They're just like, let's just put cooked meat on there because that's what it is anyway, and some crap that isn't appropriate for cats. So let's take a look at the ingredients. We have whole ground corn. Corn is not appropriate for cats. That's the very first ingredient. The next one, chicken byproduct meal. According to AFCO's definitions, byproduct meal is considered a rendered ingredient. And that means that its 4D meats are allowed. So this chicken could be diseased, dead, dying, disabled. It's allowed as long as it's rendered. Next, we have corn gluten meal. So we have whole ground corn as the first ingredient, corn gluten meal as the third ingredient. This is what's called ingredient splitting because corn is the same ingredient. They're both corn ingredients, but they break that up because otherwise, if they put both corn ingredients together, they would probably be more than this chicken byproduct meal. So they split up these ingredients so that the chicken byproduct meal, the meat-based protein, goes up to the second ingredient instead of the third. Soybean meal, again, soy is not appropriate for cats, and it's the fourth ingredient. Animal fat, what kind of animal? What animal? You can't tell me what animal it came from. Is it pork? Is it chicken? Is it beef? Is it lamb? Animal fat. Literally, that's all it says. So this is very dangerous right here. Any type of mystery meat could potentially be from dead animals from animal shelters. And there's a report for Congress on animal rendering that states that. And then next we have whole wheat. Wheat is not appropriate for cats. Animal digest. Doesn't that sound good? Animal digest. That's another mystery meat right there. Animal digest. What animal? What animal? Tuna meal. Again, meal is a rendered ingredient, so that could be dead, diseased, dying, and disabled. It's allowed. AFCO says 4D meats are allowed as long as they are rendered. Then we have ethoxyquin. This is a chemical preservative that's used. If we go to the FDA's website on pet food labeling, it says that in the 1990s, CVM began receiving reports from dog owners attributing the presence of ethoxyquin in the dog food with a myriad of adverse effects, such as allergic reactions, skin problems, major organ failure, behavior problems, and cancer. The CVM asked the pet food industry to voluntarily lower the maximum level use of ethoxyquin in dog foods. So it's like considered generally recognized as safe, even though there are investigations of organ failure, as well as an increase of liver-related enzymes in the blood, hemoglobin-related pigment in the liver. And it's one of the first 10 ingredients. Next, we have corn syrup. Again, another corn ingredient, corn syrup that's pure sugar, not appropriate for cats. Then we have some additives, preservatives, salt. Whenever you see salt, it's a good indication that they're using it to cover up rancid meat. It's a preservative. Then we have some more supplements here. And then further down the list, we have caramel color. Why? Why do cats need caramel color? Literally, they put this in the food just to appease your eyes. Cats don't care what color their food is. And then we have more of these additives. Carrageenan, that's a thickening agent. Yellow 5, red 40, blue 2. Those are known carcinogens. And then we have, natural white meat chicken flavor. AAFCO says natural just says it comes from a plant or it comes from an animal. So technically rendered meat, the one that could be dead, diseased, dying, or disabled, that's technically natural because it comes from an animal. BHA, that's another preservative that is a known carcinogen. Literally all of these ingredients are checkoffs of what to avoid. Then we go to the guaranteed analysis numbers. We use these to get the approximate carb amount. I'll go back to my spreadsheet. The approximate carb amount on a dry matter basis is 44%. I mean, that makes sense considering that the first and third ingredient is corn. Then you have soy and whole wheat. I mean, there's barely any chicken. There's not even any whole chicken in this product. Chicken byproduct meal. Byproducts are just like the leftovers from human food processing. So there's no actual whole chicken in this product. And we know that because the product name says flavors of chicken and tuna. So this gets a rating of 2 out of 20, which would be 10% if you're taking a test, out of 100. The next one we'll look at is 9 Lives. And the product name here with the flavors of chicken, beef, and salmon. So here, I really don't understand why they do this because with and flavor are 2 separate product name rules. So here they're just straight up trying to confuse us. So with the flavors of chicken, beef, and salmon. Regardless, it's definitely less than 25%. If it was at least 25%, it would have word like dinner, recipe, entree, platter, nuggets, feast, etc. Balanced nourishment, each tasty bite, strong muscles, healthy heart and vision, healthy skin and coat. Yeah, all right, let's look at the ingredients. Whole ground corn, chicken byproduct meal, soybean meal, corn gluten meal. Very, very similar to these ingredients. Beef fat instead of animal fat. All right, so this one they're actually telling us where it came from. Preserved with vitamin E. Whole wheat, meat and bone meal. What kind of meat? What animal? What kind of bone? Is it chicken bone? Is it beef meat? Is it lamb meat? See, again, you gotta avoid these things because they can't even tell you where the meat is coming from. That's a really bad sign. That just tells me that they're throwing everything together and just saying, just call it meat and bone meal. That's literally what it is. Here again, we have Animal Digest. What animal? Salmon meal. Meal is a rendered meat, so that could be 4D meats. Again, we see salt. Makes sense. That's a preservative for rancid meat. Then we go further down the list and we see red 40 again, yellow 5, yellow 6, BHA, blue 1, blue 2. All of these colors and BHA, these preservatives, these chemical preservatives are known carcinogens. And they have it. Again, this one has basically everything you need to avoid. We use the guaranteed analysis numbers. I'll go back to my spreadsheet. 48% on a dry matter basis. 48% carbs. That's almost half. Approximately half this product is carbohydrates. Clearly, whole ground corn, soybean meal, corn gluten meal. So this one gets a 3 out of 20 rating, 15%. And guess what? Both of these brands, MeowMix and 9 Lives, the website looks very similar, right? It's because they're both owned by J.M. Smucker. You know, the company that makes junk food for humans? All right, next one. Purina Pro Plan Dry Cat Food. Chicken and rice formula. So this one is the first 25% minimum rule that we've seen so far. Chicken and rice formula. That means combined, chicken and rice, the minimum is 25% and the maximum is 94.9%. And rice has to be at least 3%. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, this is a vet recommended brand. How could it be bad? Let's look at the ingredients. Chicken. All right, so there's a whole source of chicken, but the thing is, the USDA says that muscle meat is approximately 80% moisture. This is a dry food. Look, moisture, 12%. The ingredient chicken is first because it's the heaviest ingredient on the list, but that's when it's added to the pot. 80% of that chicken is gone by the time the product hits the bag because there's no moisture. It's cooked and pressurized 3 times. Poultry, they can't tell me if it's chicken or turkey. They just say poultry. And again, byproduct meal, rendered. Could be dead, diseased, dying, or disabled. Wheat flour, egg product, dried. What? Egg product? What does that even mean? Is it an egg or isn't it? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 5 ingredients, 3 out of 5 of them are gluten and carbohydrate sources. And then 1 out of the 2 meat ingredients is a complete mystery. Poultry byproduct meal? Ugh. Okay, beef fat. All right, that's specific. Soy protein concentrate. Soy is not appropriate for cats. Natural flavors. What does that even mean? Remember, natural, that doesn't mean good quality. That just means it comes from an animal or a plant. So what is it? What kind of natural flavor? Fish meal? You can't tell me what kind of fish? This is a vet recommended brand and you can't tell me what kind of fish you're using? Is it tuna? Is it smelt? Is it halibut? Is it, you know what I mean? Then we have salt again, preservative for rancid meat, caramel color. It's like all of these things is so pointless. Then we use the guaranteed analysis numbers to get approximate carb amount. This one has 30% of this product is carbohydrates, approximately. So this one gets a 3.5 out of 20 rating. If you're taking a test, that would be 17.5%. The next one is Friskies. Let's see, we have flavors of chicken, salmon, and gravy. So we have less than 3% of those ingredients. Let's look at the ingredients. Ground yellow corn, corn gluten meal. Again, we have 2 ingredients that are the same exact thing, but they split them up. Chicken byproduct meal. So no actual meat is in this product, just byproduct meal. So it's the ground down, dehydrated version of leftovers from the human food industry. It could be dead, diseased, dying, or disabled since it's rendered. Anytime you see meal, that's a rendered ingredient. Soybean meal, beef tallow preserved with vitamin E, wheat flour, meat and bone meal. What kind of meat? What kind of bone? Where are these ingredients coming from? Animal liver flavor. What animal? Like literally, is it cat? Is it dog? If a rendering report for Congress says that rendered ingredients can include dead animals from animal shelters, you gotta question this. Animal liver. What kind of animal? Fish meal. Again, that's rendered and you can't even tell me what kind of fish. Later down the list it says salmon meal. Okay, so they knew that they used salmon meal, but for this other one, they don't know. They have no idea. Why would they be specific about one and not the other? Gotta ask, like, natural and artificial flavors. What kind? What are they? Salt. Then we have red 40, yellow 5, blue 2. Again, known carcinogens. This one has approximately 45% carbs on a dry matter basis. Oh my gosh. 45%, that's half. And that's approximate. It could even be more. And I mean, it makes sense. Ground yellow corn, corn gluten meal. Those are the first 2 ingredients. Soybean meal. 5th, wheat flour. Like these are all inappropriate ingredients for cats. So this one also has a 4 out of 20 rating or 20% rating. And again, we have the same manufacturer making these foods, Nestle. Did you know that a soda company and candy bar and junk food company makes cat food? You gotta ask yourself, are the human foods that these companies make healthy? No. Why would their cat food be healthy? Friends, I'm gonna continue analyzing some of these dry cat foods because as you can see, the majority of them get a failing grade. And I understand some cats need a little bit better quality kibble before they can go to wet. So, I wanna be as helpful as possible. And even though I don't recommend dry food, I wanna find some that actually have a passing grade. So far I've found 2, so I'm going to continue analyzing and make more videos. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see me roasting these cat food brands, and I promise once I find more dry foods that get a passing grade, I'll make a video about that too. Thanks for watching.